Are we on? Hello everybody, David Harper here, and this is Rosie the dog. Now this is my very first attempt at live streaming here on YouTube. It's questions and answers, and I was, interestingly, let me tell you where I am first of all, where we are. I was going to do this right outside a Buddhist temple in the Lake District. This is part of Morecambe Bay behind me, and the Buddhist temple is kind of over there. But it's not far from home, it's about an hour and a half, but I got here and the Buddhist temple is closed. So we can't show you the Buddhist temple. That would have been quite interesting, wouldn't it? But I do have some questions from YouTubers. Thank you very much. And first of all, I must thank Mike, who sent me the recommendation to visit this Buddhist temple. It's very good of you, Mike. However, it's closed, Mike. It's closed, right? Opens again on the 20th of August. So I'm going to let Rosie have a little run around. I'm going to answer some questions. Go on, Rose. Good girl, you go down there. Right. So first question then, antiques related, and it comes from Jenny from New York. Thank you, Jenny. This is brilliant. So you have a pair of silver candlesticks, solid silver, Sheffield, hallmarked 1901. Brilliant. And the question from you is, they're black in colour, so in other words, they're very dirty, muddy, crusty. And your question is, should you take them to a professional restorer to have them cleaned? Jenny, this very simple answer here is no, absolutely don't do that. The great thing with antique silver, in fact all antiques, remember this, is that they don't have to look new. You don't want them looking new. You want to make them look patinated and well worn. So Jenny, just in England, Britain, we have a silver cleaning material called Silvo. So it's just a little pot of like a wool soaked in silver cleaning material. And I'm sure you can buy something very similar in the States. Just use that, put some gloves on you because you will be absolutely filthy. And I reckon for a pair of 1901 solid silver candlesticks, a bit like a pair I actually did a video on a few weeks ago. So go back and have a look at those. I cleaned them right in front of your eyes, and it'll take you no more than 10 minutes. And Jenny, don't overdo it. Don't over clean them. Have a look at the video. You'll see that I've left dark patches in there. It's just a light buff over. You don't want them looking new. And of course, you've got to know that silver, particularly antique silver, is very thin. It's a precious material and it's very thin and it's really easy to wear away. So be careful there. You'll literally wear holes in it. And Jenny, you know that it was made in Sheffield in 1901, so you've obviously read the hallmarks. So when cleaning silver, avoid the hallmarks as best as you possibly can. Just a light rub over the hallmark. Do not try and clean those hallmarks, Jenny, because if you rub them away, it's very easy to do, if ever you come to sell these things and you've rubbed the hallmark away, then they are not truly, strictly speaking, British sterling silver. An auctioneer, a dealer won't sell them as hallmark silver if the hallmarks are unreadable. So there you go. I hope that helps. Send me a picture. I'd like to see them. That's good. Have another look around. This is part of Morecambe Bay, so northwest England in the Lake District. And this is a beautiful spot. I mean, it's a bit of a grey day. We're supposed to be having a heat wave, by the way. This is a heat wave. It was very hot for one day. There are mountains in the background, but they're a bit hidden. Anyway, I'll get on to my second question. And this comes from Marky from Australia. Marky, Australia is a very big country. In fact, it's a continent. Whereabouts in Australia are you from? But it doesn't matter. You sent a good question. Can't remember what it is, but hey, here we go. What is it? Oh, how much are 700-year-old stones worth? Well, if you take a look at my last video, if you haven't already seen it, what Marky is referring to are some medieval stones that I found in the woods around me. Someone just sent me a message. I'm going to turn that off. And they're about 700 years old, and I made them into a modern piece of sculpture. Take a look at the video. They're in my garden. And really, Marky, you want to know how much they're worth. Well, you might be surprised to hear this, but in the world of antiques, age has nothing to do with value. Nothing. Those things are 700 years old. They're only worth £200 or £300, maybe for the three on a good day, but who's going to buy them and how are you going to transport them? As a good example is this. You can buy in Australia, America, Britain, wherever, a Roman coin. A Roman coin that's 2,000 years old, and you can pay £10, $20 for it, and it's 2,000 years old. Just goes to show that age has nothing to do with value. It's all about quality, rarity, desirability, all of those things. So the old stones, which are fascinating, aren't worth very much money. So just because Granny had a tea service and it's 100 years old doesn't mean it's worth money. It's a bit more complicated than that. Have another quick look around before I get on to the third and final question. There's Rosie. Well, no, that's Rosie. That's Wendy in the background there. It's a shame that it's a bit cloudy because it is rather lovely, but I will come back to this Buddhist temple in the woods. Fascinating place. And the reason why, I can't remember who it was that suggested I visit the Buddhist temple was because they watched my video on the incense burner. I love incense burners and the act of burning incense and meditating and all of that kind of thing. I don't necessarily meditate, but I like the ritual behind it. So they watched the video and then recommended I came here. So yeah, great recommendation. However, remember, it's closed. I'm coming back later. Third and final question. Another message coming in. I'll have to turn them off. Third and final question. This is Alan from Bedfordshire in England. Thank you, Alan. You paid £40 for a Victorian armchair. And the question is it worth reupholstering? That's a brilliant question, Alan. 40 quid for a Victorian armchair. Well, the answer to your question is yes and no. Work with me. Very simple. Yes, it's worth reupholstering because the quality of that chair, I haven't even seen it, will be extreme. Now, if you want to get an idea of the quality and how much it would cost you to make or buy a chair of that quality brand new today, have a look online at a company called George Smith, British manufacturers of high-end upholstery. Your chair, Alan, that you paid 40 quid for is as good as any George Smith handmade chair. And a George Smith handmade armchair will cost you £3,000 plus. That's the level of quality. So you've got a mortise and tenon beech hardwood frame, you've got hand-tied coil springs, you've got horsehair, you've got all those delicious things that makes antiques phenomenal, and in your case, great value for money. So yes, as far as that goes, it's worth reupholstering. However, this is where the problems potentially occur, Alan. 40 quid for your chair, it's going to cost you £1,500, maybe £2,000 to have it restored to George Smith brand new standard, which is cheaper than buying a new chair. You're restoring your old chair. So as long as you can put another couple of grand into your chair, then yes, it's worth doing, absolutely. But here's a top tip. If you can pay a bit more, put it into leather, because if you put it into fabric, the fabric, if ever you come to sell it, is going to be worn and patchy and marked, stained with wine and teas and all of that kind of thing. And no doubt the next buyer isn't going to like your choice in fabric. So put it into leather, brown, cream, black. It's going to cost you a bit more money, but the resale value later and desirability is going to go through the roof, and you might even get your cost back, £1,500, £2,000, a bit more, if you put it into leather. Go back through my catalogue of videos, you'll see me trying to buy 2 Victorian black leather chairs. They go ballistic in auction because everybody wants an antique leather chair. So there you go. My first attempt at a live broadcast. It was going to be in front of a Buddhist temple, how bizarre, in the Lake District. However, this is Morecambe Bay. I'm David Harper, and I am now going to go for lunch. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Cheerio. How do I turn it off? It's a very good question. Apologies if you're still watching. Share. I'm going to share it. Cancel. I hope this worked.